Hello there, Sid here, and welcome to the Drunken Ork. Now in this video we're going to be taking a bit of a break from the norm, or rather going back to where this channel started out. I won't be building anything, instead we're going to be doing a bit of an unboxing. But what we're going to be unboxing can be a little bit divisive. We're going to start by unboxing some recasts of some GW models. Now there can be a lot of pros for doing something like this. It certainly saves you some money, or at least it'll feel like it, because it'd be a fraction of the cost of GW's admittedly high pricing. You can potentially get access to a lot of different models, which are no longer in production, especially as over the last few years, Games Workshop and Forgery World have been getting rid of a lot of their older stuff. And it's a shame that you'd have to miss out just because they've decided to pull something they no longer want featured in one of their games. Or pay 5 or 6 or even 10 times the price that GW originally charged on somewhere like eBay. It's also quite good for those of us who like a bit of kit bashing. It'd certainly be easier on the old conscience being a bit experimental with a copy kit instead of a full price original. Plus a lot of the kits are a fantastic source of bits, and you wouldn't want to necessarily spend the full whack in a kit just to get some parts to feed the old bit box, and I've definitely never done that before. But of course there's a flip side to all this, and that'd be the cons. There's legal issues with recasting. It's a form of counterfeiting, or maybe piracy. It's definitely IP theft. Is buying these cheap copies morally right? Is it ethical? Does that matter? Well, it certainly might if it diverted enough profits away from Games Workshop to impact the release of new models, or had a negative effect on the games they released. And before anybody jumps in, I mean more of a negative effect than any effects they may already possess, which may be, in your opinion, of a negative nature. Yeah? Things can always be worse, is what I'm saying. There's also quality concerns. What if the stuff you get is of a piss poor standard? Can you imagine how you'd feel if you spent your hard-earned money on a resin model and it was warped or in any way less than perfect? Sorry. Forge World. Oh, I do apologise. Fightcast. Oh, the dust in here. And that's all assuming you get the models in the first place. You buy in from another country, from people who have already proven they have a scant disregard to the letter of the law, and they're willing to literally give the finger to a multi-billion-dollar company. They'll not have much of an issue screwing over some little nerd on the other side of the world. So like I say, pros and cons. But I am curious, so I've decided to place an order, but I'm only going to order models that are no longer available from Games Workshop. I can't be faulted for that, surely. And there's no way I'm paying eBay prices. I have also thought long and hard about divulging the details of the website that I used to place these orders from this point on, known as Forgery World, and I have decided not to. I don't want to be responsible for encouraging potentially harmful practices or for getting anybody ripped off. These are things which could happen, and if you want to go out and find out how to inflict that yourself, please do so. But I won't be helping, so please don't ask. Although if somebody was to put something in the comment section which directed you to certain places, that's a different matter altogether and is out of my hands. Well, it's a grey area anyway, isn't it? It's a grey area. Anyway, this is going to be a bit of a long video, so let's get cracking with the first unboxings. Right, so I've had a delivery. And I thought I'd do a little impromptu unboxing just while I'm waiting to finish off the next video and show you what I got. It's a bit big for this camera, isn't it? So let's cut this open. Ooh. Ah. Probably gives it away. Is that everything? Well, it's almost everything. I think that if you haven't already guessed, this is a kill tank. But I also got that there. I also got this, which, if you can see the Flying V guitar and the orky face with a top hat, should be a clue that it's a goth rocker. And also, I think this is all one thing. There you go, you should get some clues off that. That just looks to be glyph plates, and oh yeah, I recognise some of those bits. And the kicker, there we go. If you know your Ork kits, you'll know what that is now. It's a truck, but it's not the standard truck. It's the old Forgery World half-track truck, hence the half-track pieces here. Now I don't know if it's a full truck with the half-track pieces or just the half-track pieces upgrade sort of thing. I think it's the latter of the two, which I hope it is. Yeah, I can see wrecking balls and whatnot in there, so that's quite cool. These three kits, the kill tank, the half-track truck and the goth rocker, all resin. Got them all from Forgery World, which is the one of the China sites. Now my thoughts on this are, if Forge World aren't selling them anymore, if I can't buy it from the source anymore, I don't really have a problem getting it elsewhere. And I looked, the kill tank is gone, because I wanted one of those anyway, left it too late. The truck hasn't been available for quite some years, and the goth rocker was very much limited edition. Price wise, I think it was $70 or $60. $26 for the truck, and the goth rocker was about, it was either, I think it was $6.99. Worked out it with a current sale on the site. It currently had an 8% discount on, so basically I paid $95 for the lot. Free shipping to the UK. Worked out about 73 quid. So I really just want to have a quick look here and see the quality of the resin. So this looks a chunky bit. That looks as straight as you're going to get it, doesn't it? You want a nice straight level base. GW got round that in some of their more recent sculpts by not giving them a base. Woohoo! Bossless tanks. But yeah, it looks alright. Let's have a look at the tracks. Bit of flash there for clean up. Oh, that bit's come away there, look. A little bit of glue should sort that out. Okay. Let's have a look. Here's one of the big side pieces. Now it's not until you start putting some of these bits together are you going to notice if they fit well or not. Look at all the cables, man. Little bits of like flash and what have you scattered about. Now I don't know exactly where this goes. I really haven't got a clue. And there's no instructions with this, so there's going to be a bit of guesswork. Yeah, no idea. But that looks, I mean, that's as straight as a die, that, isn't it? Likewise with that side. That's a lovely big toothy ram, isn't it? I mean, I was going to say some of those teeth are a bit bent, but they do look like they're meant to be. I would have just dived in and straightened them. I quite like, if we're not meant to be bent, they actually look cool bent, since they're all bent the same way and by the same amount, so I'm keeping that. Some straight exhausts. Well, that one's not. I don't even know if that's meant to be. Is that meant to be there? I don't even know if I'm meant to snip that off. We'll figure it out. It's obviously for the gun. Yeah, overall, I'm quite pleased with this. Looks a decent cast. The big problem is going to be figuring out how to build the fucking thing. But I dare say, if I had all the Forge World instructions, I'd have the same problem. Because from past experience, they're a little bit rubbish. Now, this is the one that's going to be bent, if anything's going to be bent. And yes. They're on the wonk a little bit. So I'll need to straighten them out with a bit of hot water. These exhausts at the back on this big engine looking monstrosity. Pretty alright. Oh, that's a nice gun. Look at that. Makes you want to use this one, doesn't it? Just so you can keep this for something else. Oh, I know what to use it for. I know what I'm using that for. Never mind. Yeah, I think I'll use that one on the kill tank. I won't have to worry about those being bent as much either until I come around to actually use them on something. But that, yeah, that's earmarked already. And what's this? Oh, it's a thing? I'm guessing this goes on top. Sweet as a nut. And he has some just little gribblies. I imagine, well, it is extra track guards, I can see that. Jesus. There we go. And, bits for the track assembly. Who's this big Ched? Oh my god. He's awesome. Oh, he's got no feet. I was just thinking, I'm not even going to put him on the tank. He's going on foot. I mean, that's a proper orc. Look at that. He's like one of the wreckers, him. The breaker boy. What's his other arm doing? Please be pointing. Oh, it's pointing. You. Love him. Amazing. Little communication grot. Flamers and shooters. Awesome. Right. Get this put away and then let's have a look at the truck. So that is bent. Not much. And it looks alright that way. That bit comes off, that little snip there. We've got a bent peg there. So that's slightly wonky. and the whole thing is a bit bent there, but even without heating it, you can straighten that out. I mean, it just goes back to being wonky, but with a bit of hot water, yeah, we'll sort that. It's mostly things like the armour panels and the flatbed and what have you that we need to look for. So there's the flatbed, and that is well, it's not flat for a start, is it? It's all over the shop. But again, if you can bend it by hand, unheated, it'll be a doddle with a bit of warm water. I'm not going to say it's not going to be a little bit fiddly. But it'll be fine. Now it's a bit shiny. In places you can see in the lines and in little patches like there. Now I don't know what that is, if it's some sort of mould release. I've noticed those sorts of shiny bits before, and I've never really given them much mind, never really paid them much attention, and it never really causes any problems, but I'll still give it a bit of a wash just to make sure. Boarding ramp, maybe have a slight twist on it, just slight though, nothing I'm particularly concerned about. Same with that one. Big chunky engine. Now these are the truck wheels, look at these bolters. A lot of flash in the spokes there. But they're like the old battle wagon wheels, you know, the old battle wagon wheels. I love them, they're great. Alright, so there's the truck engine in its two parts. So you get this as like an alternate engine for the half track. You can tell just looking at it, that's basically a cast of a GW plastic engine, so it's all crisp lines and, you know, sharp detail. And you can tell that's a Forgery World one because it's just a bit more cluttered and wonky, and you know, that feels smooth to hold. That feels like it's cutting you. You know what I mean? Some track assemblies. Again, not too bad. That might need a little twist. Easy enough to do. Slightly bent armour panel. But again, easy to fix. That one's alright actually. Ah, right, breakage. So that should be there. It should be attached to that. It's part of the original truck kit. There's not much you can do about that. Well, not at this point. There was a lot of pieces here crammed into one bag, not a very large bag, so you're going to get some accidents when you're doing it like that, so that's a shame. I'm not going to say it's difficult to fix, it's not, and the great thing with the Orks is I could glue that on there, and then just to make sure it's got a little bit more support, probably on the back, I could stick an extra strip of plastic card across there just to support it, and if anything it's just going to make it look more orky, so I'm happy enough with that. That's alright. I might not even use that. I don't know if you need that for the half track truck. Oh, and of course there was some standard truck wheels as well. Christ knows how these going together. There we go. Nope. There we go. Nope. There we go. There we go. It's never a bad thing to have sets of wheels knocking about. And there's more in there too, as well as the truck tracks and a few other odds and sods. I just want to see what's in here. I hate these bags. When you've got big fat fingers, especially when they're dry, they're a pain in the arse to open. Right, so yeah, it doesn't look particularly warped, but I think that is warped. I'm sure it's meant to be more like that. I don't know. Some hatches, some exhausts, just the usual truck gubbins, and nice and straight. Tracks themselves look a little bit wobbly, but I don't know, maybe they're meant to be. Depends whereabouts the tracks are going. And again, some tracks are like that. Now, is that a bent exhaust? Oh no, that's the axle, isn't it? Not the axle, drive shaft. Drive shaft, axle, fuck no, it's axle, yeah. I don't know if that's meant to be on. I'll have to get one of my trucks and have a look underneath. It might have a little bend in it actually. Again, I have to sort this out. There's a lot of hot water repairs needed here. Half an exhaust there. Looks straight enough though. Hopefully the other half is. Yeah, there's a lot of hot water repairs needed, and as far as I can see, only one actual repair. But because you get the whole truck and the bits to make it the half track, all these wheels, the big wheels, obviously you've got the smaller wheels here as well. Yeah, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4 big wheels. Obviously 2 of these make a full wheel, and 2 front wheels. That's 6 wheels that I don't need, because I've got those, and I've got the tracks. And bear in mind this was $24, which, I mean, 18 quid. I don't think that's too bad at all. Oh, look, a little TIE fighter. No, that's not. What's that? Is this something to do with the tracks? Have I got 2 of these? Oh, I've got 2 of these. So it must be something to do with the tracks. Have I got 4 of these? No, I've just got 2 of these. Pretty cool. And then this little bag here is just got, I'm not going to bother opening this. It's got some heads in, parts for the big shooter, grill. Oh, there's your half that exhaust I was looking for. Driver's feet, and all the little gribbly bits. I'll tell you something now, nothing in here is getting repaired. If it snapped, it snapped. Yeah. Not bad. Let's have a quick look at the Goff Rocker. I wanted the Goff Rocker to add on to me Morkanaut, which is already finished actually at this point, but the video isn't, so hopefully you'll see that soon if you haven't already. You never know, I might paint them up and try and add them on. Everything seems straight. Not join there. It's pretty good. I mean, considering I haven't actually, you know, cleaned it up any. And there is quite a bit, like you see on his arm here. That needs cleaning up. But that will come off pretty easily. Very nice. For about £4. You can't really argue, can you? So that was some Forgery World GW recasts. Like I say, all the models I picked are no longer in production. I was gutted when I found the kill tank was gone. I'd seen the pictures of it online, mostly on the Forge World section of the GW website, as where it used to live. And every time I'd seen it, I thought, I don't like that. That's rubbish, that. The paint job, or rather, should I say, the photos. I'm sure the paint job was absolutely spot on. But the photos didn't do it justice. And I know that because the first time I went to Warhammer World, I saw the model, not painted, just in resin. And I was like, oh, that's very nice. That's not what it looks like online. And yeah, I fell a little bit in love with it. But it was quite expensive, wasn't it? We're talking there, I think the cheapest I ever saw was about £1.50, something like that. It was quite a bit. So I didn't get it. Because, you know, who's got that sort of money to throw about? And every time I went to Warhammer World, I saw it and I, sort of cooed over it and what have you, but never actually pulled the trigger on a purchase. And then it just went. And I remembered what it was like to feel loss. For a model, not real loss, you understand, like in real life. But I wanted a model. Anyway, this has given us a perfect chance to actually get one. Likewise for the Goth Rocker, who was obviously just limited edition, didn't realise that so much. And of course the old truck. Now the truck is available in plastic, obviously. And if I want a truck, I'm going to buy the plastic truck. Because I just prefer plastic. It's not a moral decision that it's still in production, so that's what I'll go for. I just like plastic. I like working with plastic more than resin. But that resin truck, the half-track truck, with all its tracks and its wheels and its engine, plus the original wheels and engines and all, it's so many bits. It's fantastic. And if you went to get those wheels, if you just want to pick up a set of truck wheels off a bit site, you're going to be paying best part of £12. Easy. It's about £3 to £4 for a set of wheels, 2 wheels. So you'll pay that for the full set. You're halfway towards the actual truck in resin at that point. You know, so you might as well get the one that don't do anymore. So that is the Forgery World stuff. And I appreciate that was just unboxed, so therefore everything is in bits. I think the resin tank actually made a bit of a cameo in another kill tank video I've done recently, but I've also finished painting it, mostly. So I'm going to show you that so you can see what they're going to look like once they're all given a nice glow up. Painted. You know what I mean. So here is the kill tank. Once I've painted it up, as you can see, it's not fully finished. I mean, the paint job is, it's just missing the dozer blade at the front and the hatch at the top. I've got them, I've just primed them, hence the blackness. I haven't been able to quite scrub off me finger arrows yet. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I mean, I don't think you could say this was a knockoff, in all honesty. I think it looks decent. A couple of things which I'm, you know, not over the moon about, for example, is this panel here is bent in. See, I've tried to reinforce it. No, scrap that. I tried to reinforce it with a bit of coffee stirrer, but it didn't work. I might be able to fix that with something, but it just keeps bending out, and quite frankly, I'm just going to leave it like that. Leave it alone. Some of the bits at the front I had to modify slightly. I had a bit of girder, something I put in, because you could just see straight into the track setup, which I didn't want. And some of the joins were a little bit ropey, so a lot of super glue with baking powder, or bicarbonate soda should I say, just to sort of like plug those gaps and help reinforce it. And like I say, you just give that a bit of a dry brush with an orange tone, it looks like lovely, lovely rust. But yes, nice big kill tank. Well worth the money. I was a bit sad when I got this, as I mentioned before, from Forgery World before they stopped making it, so it's nice to be able to pick one up. Yep, and I'm glad I got one. I would definitely get one again. Not I don't want another one. I won't get another one. I mean, if I hadn't got that one, I would get one. Well, I wouldn't get it again, would I? Because I haven't got one. I would, if I was to go back when I didn't have one, and I was armed with the knowledge that I've got now about what it's like to have one, I would get one again. Do you follow? Yeah, I don't regret it. One thing I did notice though, when comparing things like the kill tank, which was a Forge World resin model, to the parts of the truck which I'm familiar with, which is part of the original plastic kit for the truck, is yeah, they weren't great. As in the truck pieces weren't great. I can't really comment on the resin truck pieces, which to be fair looked fine. There wasn't any warping or anything on the bits I'd readily recognise as the resin bits. But the bits which were originally plastic from GW, they weren't the best. I think you saw in the video on the footage there was a lot of twisting and bending and there's lots of little fiddly bits, which the plastic kits are, of course. And when there's lots and lots of little bits like that, all whipped and mangled, as my granny would say, then yeah, that's a bit of a pain in the arse. So I definitely stay away from the plastic kits. Personally, I don't see the appeal of them. I much rather work in plastic than resin anyway. I have had resin kits from Forge World before, which have been pretty piss poor, in all honesty. The Knob Warbiker springs to mind. That was quite poor. Although I did get a resin Sakaran as well, and that was a lot better. It just seemed to be big smooth blocks of resin. So maybe the older Forge World stuff is piss poor, and the newer one's great. And much like this recast stuff, some of it feels a bit ropey. But if you know Forge World, it doesn't feel a million miles away, to be totally honest. Anyway, Forgery World, that's my take on it. Would I use it again to purchase an out of production model? Yes, I would. Would I use it again to save a few quid on some currently available plastic kits? No, I wouldn't. You do you. Now this brings us on to my second little unboxing bit. Not something I was planning on doing, but I did stumble across some models from a site which I've used before. These are not GW models, and that site is Temu. Yes. Now I've done a video on Temu tanks before, but I never actually got those from Temu. They came from Amazon, and they were just little toy tanks. So I don't know where the Temu thing came from there, but this is actually from the Temu site. Now the thing with this is, and this is my defence, it is ignorance. I say defence. I might not need defence with this. I might though. I don't know. I don't really know enough how Temu works, as in where they get things from. Are they just a sales site like Amazon, or what's going on? I don't really know. The models in question that I bought, they're not Games Workshop. One of them, at least, is pretty heavily inspired by Games Workshop. The second one could be as well. My biggest concern is that these are sculpts by a independent 3D sculptor who does STLs, maybe prints out some models for resale himself, or has little resellers scattered about that they use. And if they are their models and they've been counterfeited, pirated, basically forged, then that's harder for me to take than it would be if it was Games Workshop, because you've got a company worth, what is it, £5-6 billion at the minute, compared to somebody sat there in a bedroom trying to scratch out a living, basically. It's not right. I don't know if any of these are like that. Again, that's the out ignorance defence coming in. I bought a couple just to see what they're like, and yeah, I'll have to try and look into that a little bit more. If you do know, please leave a message in the comments and let us know what the crack is with stuff like this. Because I would be interested to know, because there's certain things I want to avoid if at all possible. And like I say, this is more just out of curiosity though. So anyway, let's have a look at these unboxings as well. Here I've got 4 packages which I've had delivered recently from Temu. These are all models that I want to have a look at. I thought I would show you first of all a couple of extra little things. I got these, which are some anti-static tweezers. They're basically like a thick rubber prong. There's a slight bend to them, but yeah, they're not magnetic and not static, so they'll be useful. And they were £1.51, and also some snips. I mean, they're snips. That is quite a fine blade. And yeah, I used them a couple of test snips. They seemed fine, but they were £1.66. Now, bearing in mind I paid about 20 quid, 15 quid for those ones, and they do feel slightly better quality, but for £1 odd, you can't really grumble. So anyway, thought I'd show you those first of all, and let's get these open. I'm going to start with smallest and work my way up. So here's a little one. Alright, hang on. I've got some breakages already. That's off to a good start. And we do have a Death Guard army, or I've started a Death Guard army, and I thought I'd get this fella. That detail's pretty nice, to be fair. Now, I did say I had some breakages. Yeah, it's no surprise that those antlers didn't make it. And the end of his sword snapped as well. Now the sword, yeah, that's definitely fixable. That's a strange packing material, is that? Don't mind. Look at that. Ties on the antlers, rips them all off. The antlers are not fixable. I can't pin that. I'm not even going to try gluing it. Well, I might try. But the sword is definitely fixable. But the main model itself, yeah, I quite like it. Let's just check something here. Let's put them there for a moment. Right, now I've just checked the order details for this fella, because I thought, is he a good stand-in for a Great Unclean one? And doing the old Primaris size test, no, he's not. He's tiny for a Great Unclean one. The order itself says he should be in height, this is to the top of the antlers, 2.6 inches. Well, he's not. And at the tip of his sword, 2.43 inches. out there. He's not that either. Now, I know his sword and his antlers both snapped off, but his antlers weren't up here and his sword wasn't out there. So he's a bit smaller than it suggests. But, saying that, I'm still quite pleased with that. I think he'll be a fantastic base for a Demon Prince. And when I say a fantastic base, he basically is a Demon Prince, isn't he? And he cost me £6.84. £6.84, not bad. Yeah, we've got the second box. Ooh, no fuzzy cloud shit here. Ooh, a lid. Oh. Okay. Now this is obviously a little buggy. Oh look, it's got a cavity. You can put a Malteser in that. Alright. I'm a little bit surprised it's one piece. Or is it one piece? Or is it just already assembled? Looking at that, where the turret joins the buggy, it may be that it's just already assembled as opposed to one piece. Right, let's do a comparison size wise. Right, so here we've got an Ork buggy, and I just wanted to check it size wise. Actually, do you know what? I thought it was a bit small, but that's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. It is still a little bit small. It'd fit comfortably in one of those bases. Yeah. It'll take a bit more work, especially with being one piece already. I don't know how easily that'll come apart. If I grab a knife here, let's use it against here. I just want to see how easily this source of resin is to work with. No, that is, I don't know my resin types, but that is a splinter resin. As I think of it, as in when you cut it, it will crack and come away. You can't carve it like a molded resin. So obviously it's a 3D print, but so I'll be adding to this as opposed to chopping away at it. But no, that's all right. I think you're going to orky that up quite easily. That's not bad, and it's not bad for £5.81. £5.81, not bad, not bad. Can't really grumble, can you? Nicely packaged as well. Here's the next one. Same sort of packing style. Ooh. Okay. Oh, yes. So, yeah, now I don't know what these are. With regards to, now obviously the first fella was like a demon prince, well, a great unclean one, demon prince, Nurgle, sort of themed gadget. Antlers, big tongue, mouth in his belly. Obviously a rip-off of some GWIP. Although I don't think an actual specific model. Second one was a little buggy. Now this looks, especially with this, I mean this goes on the back here. Well, seems like a different type of resin, different colour. And then you've got the 4 big rockets that go on the back there. But this isn't a GW model. I don't know if there's another third party sculptor out there who's actually doing these, and this is one of theirs, this has been a rip-off of one of theirs, this is just something completely original. I don't know. But I've not seen this before. Again, virtually one piece. We've obviously got a few extra bits here. I'm going to do a little cut test again. Ooh, I'll just do it here. Ooh, that doesn't splinter. That's a totally different sort of plastic to the little buggy. I say plastic, resin, whatever it is. That's actually quite nice. You'll be able to carve that. And you not want to carve it, but you know, cut into it if need be, drill into it. That's pretty cool. Ooh. Ooh. The tracks come off. What are these? Little clips. Well, I've never seen anything like that. So, ooh, that's pretty good, that. I think. I mean, I can't see any need for it, other than to make the printing easier. But yeah, that's pretty, very cool. But yeah, that's not a bad little vehicle. Use it as an artillery piece. I will ork it up, no doubt. You could probably use it as a base for a truck as well. Put some in the back here as a true crew transport, or crew compartment, were the words I was looking for. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Size wise, I've got here a rhino. So as you can see, that is pretty much cock on, isn't it? Yeah, that's not bad at all, that's very useful. But how much was it? Now if I told you this was £15, you'd probably be quite shocked. But it wasn't, it was £6.46. Yeah, that's fully in there. But yeah, £6.46. I mean, looking at some of the detail, it's got plenty of detail, but it's maybe not as crisp, and you have got these sort of print lines down there, which I'm not particularly bothered about. Certainly not for orcs, and even for Imperial stuff. I think, like, well, no, it's like, you know, in Star Wars when you saw like the Phantom Menace and the prequel trilogy, everything was slick and whoosh and yeah, prosperity. Look at my shiny silver spaceship. And then you got the original trilogy, which happened obviously beforehand, and everything was just like, look, bollocks to sleek. We're just printing out TIE fighters here and X-Wings and battleships. It's all very just boom, 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 industry. Let's just get them out. There's a war on, you know. This is a bit like that. Whereas if the metal's a bit poorer quality, then it doesn't matter what it looks like. It's functionality. So I don't mind that. It's got these little lines on it. I did notice there were a lot more noticeable in some of the hidden areas. And the bottom's got a texture on, it's a bit like a GW base. But anyway, pop that track back on, as easy as it is. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. And like I say, £6.46. That detail is superb for £6.46. Ain't it? Tis. Yeah, pleased with that. And even if I don't end up... Oh, it didn't go that way, did it? Or should I put it that way? That doesn't matter. Those rockets. I imagine they're all the same. That is a nice rocket. Shut up. Get out where you bloody focus hog. That's a nice rocket. Oh, missile. That's a little bit disappointing. Just a flat arse. Well, draw that out. That'll be cool. Strange packing. I'm going to put that back in. Takes us to our big box. Now I have already pre-cut all these. Ooh, but this is the same. I don't know if this is all from the same people. I mean, yeah, look at that one. I never got the kill track from Forgery World, mostly because it was nearly a ton, and you've got to buy it direct from Forgery World. This is a bit similar to that rocket truck we looked at just before there. The detail isn't bad. I mean, when it's painted up, it'll be a lot better. It's not quite as crisp around that engine block. Things like the cabling there, it looks like it's not as crisp as it would be with GW. It looks like it could be sort of like moulded into the base there. But it's not bad at all. Like I say, if you do a bit of work with that, that's easily fixed. That's the gun, which is basic at best, to be fair. But it's straight, so I'll give it that. I got one of those flacker guns from Forgery World once, and the barrels were all pointing in different directions. These are the extra tiddly bits. So I assume that is... Oh yeah. So that's a little ram. It's a little ram, isn't it? I mean, it's not bad, but it's tiny. I'm going to take this opportunity just to carve a little bit off this. I expect it carves quite well. It does. Because you can see at the bottom of there, it's got the same sort of mottled pattern as the rocket truck did. So yeah, that's nice. Oh no, I thought they were exhaust, but they're not. They're oh, they must go in there. They're shooters. On the other side. And nice. And exhaust. Christ knows where that goes. Ditto for that. I don't know what that is. It looks like it could be an exhaust. Maybe it. Who knows? And that. All right. I'll go in there. Maybe that's. No, I thought that might have acted as like an axle, because it doesn't seem to be anything to keep that gun in. You might just need to glue it in place. That's pretty. I think that's pretty cool. This was a little bit more than the other stuff. This was £11 and 27p, but for it's basically a completed. Hold on. The track's come off. I thought you could see a little join line there. Oh my word. I mean, they are fucking brilliant tracks. Look at them. They are amazing tracks. I would pay that money just for the tracks. I'm not gonna lie. That is your 50% of the work through getting an amazing tracked vehicle with the tracks. And that, I don't want you. It's like shit Lego. Build your own Ork vehicle, tra la 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 la. Look at it go, ma. I've got nothing to clip on now. I mean, obviously, yeah. But that, isn't that good? So is that? Yeah, it doesn't matter which way you put it on, does it? Is it exactly in the middle? So if you had two of these, could you put one of those on both sides? I think you could, couldn't you? Nah, maybe not. But that is wicked, that. What an absolute bargain. Seriously, £11.27. I mean, for that alone. I think that's worth £11.27 of anyone's money. Just a comparison, size-wise. Now, like I say, I don't have a kill track, but I do have an Ork truck there. I think that's perfect for a truck right from the off. If I'm being honest, that is just a truck ready to go. But the fact that if you think, well, I don't like that, take it off. Put something else in its place. If you think I don't like that cab, take it off. Even if you don't like the cab, but you do like the engine, take it off. Makes it so much easier to cut through. Although I'm not saying it's going to be easy, you need at least a, you know, saw. But it makes that easier in working with. I mean, if that's on there and that was one piece, removing that middle section would be a right pain in the arse. You could make that cut, but then you'd have to sort of chisel through the bottom. But that way, brilliant. Keep the cab, put a solid front on it. Whatever you want to do. Being able to just disconnect it, modular, is brilliant. But those tracks coming off, just to make a different vehicle, that is, I'm amazed. I'm absolutely bowled over. Oh God, I was hoping to hate these. Yeah, I was kind of low-key hoping I was going to hate those models. That would have made things a lot easier, because I do find myself in a bit of a ethical quandary here. I'm actually recording this last bit again. I've already done it and edited it, but then when I was editing I thought, no, I'm doing that again because I've got other things weighing on my mind, hence the change in clothing and dramatic hair loss. Basically, I'm pretty much at peace with taking recasts from a company like GW. I don't catch myself in an ethical snafu with that. I'm quite happy. If the model's out of print, no longer available, I'll use a recast site. I'm okay with that. If the model is in print and it's plastic, I simply won't. I will much rather just get the plastic kit. The plastic recasts that I've seen, not massively impressed with. Plus it's harder to work with. I don't need that many models that, you know, it's going to be a huge saving. It'll be quite a big saving, don't get us wrong. But yeah, but I'm going for the plastic, not because of ethical reasons, but because I like GW plastic. If it's GW resin and it's in print, okay, then I'll have a dilemma. But chances are, if I want it straight away, I'll buy it from them. If I'm prepared to wait for 3 weeks or so, I'll order it from overseas. But what I do find myself hung up on is if I'm using a site like Temu and they're taking models from a independent seller, third party sculptor, what have you, that's where I feel a bit ropey. Even a smaller company like, say, Puppets War or Hardcore Minis, and I mention those two because I did see 2 of their models on Temu. I recognised them. Infantry models, I wasn't getting infantry models, I wasn't on the lookout for those, but I saw them and I thought, yeah, I wonder what the crack is with that. So regarding the models I did get, I don't recognise them as sculpts from any other sculptor. I didn't recognise them. I didn't recognise their style. That's not to say they're not. You know, somebody's had to design them. And like I say, I don't know enough about it at the moment. This was an exploratory endeavour. But then, of course, you've got the whole thing that if some of the models, like the kill track, which I got, is very much taken from the GW Forgery World kill track, so they would probably see that as IP theft. Now, if you're stealing, essentially, by using something like Temu, which are taking ideas off a independent 3D sculptor who's took his ideas off a company like GW, is that, well, it's everyone's doing wrong. 2 wrongs make a right. No, they don't. We know that. Likewise, I mean, you could say, well, I'm not having copies. A lot of people use copies in day-to-day life. They might stream media from suspect sources. They might have had a copied album in the past. They may have a fake Rolex. Now, a fake Rolex is a good example because I might have a fake Rolex. I don't. But if I was to get a fake Rolex, is that taking money out of Rolex's pocket? I'm never going to buy a Rolex. But if I got a fake one at a market for a knockdown price on holiday, say, would I get that? Possibly. Couldn't rule it out. But it's certainly buying that is not stopping me from then spending £5,000 with Rolex. So these things I've just bought from Temu. Did I buy that rocket truck, for example, because I was desperate for a rocket truck and I needed 60 quid to get it, or whatever it was? But I saw a Temu for cheaper, so bought it there. Or did I buy it from Temu because it was £6? And I can't ignore that sort of a bargain. It hasn't taken money off anybody. It's just been a bargain. It's hard to say, and I'm not going to say this is what it is. It's definitely this, this and this in every situation for everybody out there, because it's impossible for me to know. I can only say for my situation, and the models I've bought recently are probably, well, I would have done without, because either I wouldn't have been able to get a hold of them, or I didn't want them enough to pay 10 times the value. But could be different for you. It's a tricky area. It's very weird. I'm sure you've all got a lot to say on the matter, and I would like to hear it in the comment section, and we can have a discussion about it. Be nice to each other though. I'm sure you always are. You're all sound. But yeah, I just wanted to look into this, and since I was looking into it, I thought, why not put together in a video, an incredibly long and tedious video that's easily over an hour by now. But yeah, if you're still around, thanks very much. Cheers, appreciate it. I hope you got some hobbying done and we're just sat there like this. Oh my god, it's so riveting. Because I know it's probably not riveting. A lot of the unboxing, well, all the unboxing I was doing live. It was genuine unboxing. So a lot of it I was just, ooh, and maybe not quite as verbose as I normally am. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're new. Give the bell a little tickle so you don't miss out. I've got another video in the works for getting back to what I normally do, builds and whatnot. But until next time, take care. So, like I say, pros and cons. But I am curious, so I've decided to place an order. I'm not looking at the right camera. I have also thought long and hard about divulging the details of the website I used to place, so I'm leaning forward. So, like I say, pros and cons. In my head, I've got my son's voice going 6'7". I don't even know if that's a thing. I don't know what it means. Fucking shite, not even mentioning that.